Hello, MACKEM CABBIE here. How you doing? It's getting nearer and nearer to the first leg of the playoff semi-final between Sunderland and Coventry City. And is Regis walking on thin ice? Is he going to be in trouble if Sunderland are disastrous in these playoffs like they have been the last 5 games? Not many Sunderland fans are confident at all, and I don't blame them with how bad Sunderland have been. But where would that leave Regis if we failed to go up in the playoffs and we crashed out disastrously? We've got a hammering at Stadium we've got a hammering at Coventry, and we've got a hammering at Coventry, and we've got a hammering at the Stadium of Light. Do you think Regis would be in trouble? Do you think the fans will be calling for his head? Or do you think we'll finish fourth? It hasn't been a bad campaign, but the way we've been playing these last few months, it's really, really annoyed a lot of the Sunderland fans. And one of the headlines today was Regis time to write a new story. He addressed the media ahead of the playoff campaign. And this is what the fans have been saying. Roland says, the lads need to start showing how they can play as a team. If that means training themselves, then let them. We as kids played better than following rules. Even if Speakman and KLD don't want us to, let's prove they can win it for the fans. Tony says, his team players like him. He says, no aggression in him manner. No, she says, just dull, boring and predictable tripe. What he comes out with, he sends me to sleep. He says, no wonder the team look half asleep. So us fans need to wake up, roll on Friday. And Robert says, if we don't win both legs, he is in big trouble. And Larry replies to that, says, if he gets us promoted, he's as safe as houses. Chad actually says, not really. He says, personally, I think we've overachieved this season. So that's an interesting one. We've overachieved this season. Have we? Sonia anyway says, Regis doesn't fill me with hope in this interview or this press conference. He says, however, I'm sure the lads will do everything they can for our fans. He says, I feel sorry for the fans who's been at the last 5 games. Come on, SAFC, do it for the fans. Michael says, a little while ago, Labrie was the best manager we've had in ages and our team were brilliant. Now we have so-called supporters complaining about both the manager and the team. We're in the playoffs with a chance to get into the Premier League. He says, I, myself, would have taken this at the start of the season without a doubt. Keep the faith. We still may get to the promised land. But like I say, I think it's just the way we've been playing. That's got the fans concerned. James says, we judge the season when the season is done. Until then, however, lads. Stephen says, judge the manager and the players after the next 2 games. Hopefully 3, and not the last 5. However, lads. And that's a good point, because if we did win these next 2 games and we were in the playoff final and we got promoted, nobody would be thinking at all. They'll not even think about the 5 games on the bounce that we've lost. It wouldn't even get mentioned. Peter says, I've said this all season. He says, Regis does not fill me with confidence. He is not animated, shows no emotion, no passionate. He says he's boring. He says this is not good for the team. He's trying to mould into a winning team. He says it's up to the captain to encourage his players to find that winning mentality. We need fighters on the field like Cattermold, Burr and Barley. Collins says, that's nonsense. Di Canio was well animated and emotional. That went well. Steve says, yeah, but he got us to the best finish in nearly a decade in his first season here. higher than any of us expected. Playoff players secured with games to spare, and loads of fans aren't satisfied. Stephen reckons we need to keep a clean sheet down there at the very least. That's what we need. That would be a help. Mark says, I want to be positive, but the club screwed him in January. We desperately needed reinforcements. Coventry will score too many over 2 legs unless he drops Meffin and brings back Ballard. Jordan says in his press conference, he says, made some really good points, roll on Wembley. A few people laughing. Jack says, play a decent team and a decent formation. Stop being generic. Sophie says, as much as I love this man and the team, why does he look sad all the time? I feel you, Reggie, mate. I really, really do. And Paul says, I know we've not won the last 5 games, but I have to keep the faith. I think we do. It's just a case of we're all concerned. Look, you can't argue the fact that we've done all right. Like, you know, we've finished 4th off top. But it's just the way we have finished in the league, the way we've finished playing the last 5 games. It's really grating on Sunderland fans. And I hope it does work out for Regis. Of course I do. But I really feel for his position if we continue to play the way we have been the last 5 games. If we play like that on the 2 legs, like I say, to me, he's lost the dressing room. He lost the dressing room weeks ago. I'm hoping that there's a switch getting flicked, and we're absolutely world beaters, and we'll just brush them aside. But it's going to be interesting to see what happens to Regis Bris and what the Sunderland fans want if we disastrously crash out of the playoffs. Well, like I say, people might think I'm being negative. I'm just going by what the fans are saying, basically. I don't blame them. The way we've been playing, the last 5 games have just been absolutely shockingly bad. Lost 3 at home as well in the bounce. It's not good enough. And I didn't blame the fans, to be honest with you. So we do need that massive response on Friday. It's going to be a tall order. My mind's the same. I can't see it because I'm just trained the last 5 games of watching utter dross. And where all of a sudden is this amazing performance going to come from? I hope for Regis' sake and the fans' sake, the club's sake, he proves us all wrong. Anyway, let us know in your comments. I'll reply to you as always. Have a good Wednesday night. And I'm going to watch the Arsenal game now. Catch you later.